Welcome back. I'm Tricia Manning-Smith.
And I'm Rick Price. Did you know that the world is at a critical crossroads right now as we speak?
Two iconic species, the wild African elephants and rhinos, are critically endangered. And because of rural poverty in southern Africa, poachers are killing alarming numbers of those animals every year. And unless people do something about it, the elephants and the rhinos there are going to be gone forever.
But hard work, drones, big data, and creative thinking are making a dent in poverty-driven poaching and saving wild African elephants and rhinos while improving the lives of the people who live near the animals. Here's a look.
Elephants and rhinos are being killed every single day. An elephant every 15 minutes and a rhino 3 times a day. So if you can create a place of safety, that's what we've got to be striving for. We're called elephants, rhinos, and people because we protect elephants and rhinos in the wild, but we adopt a somewhat unconventional approach to doing that. The root of the problem is poverty. The people executing the poaching to sell horns and tusks are poor people with few other choices in order to survive. And if we can make it in their best interests economically to protect elephants and rhinos, they'll do that more effectively than anybody else can. In order to help these animals, we needed help in the form of technology, and the obvious technology partner for us was SAP. That ERP Air Force is powered by SAP technology. We have Internet of Things devices generating data, moving through SAP interface, through SAP-based applications into the SAP HANA database. We're able to monitor elephants and rhinos with satellite tracking technologies. And where we have a drone presence, we reduce poaching to literally 0. We're firmly committed to what we're doing with ERP, and with SAP, we can do it even better.
Joining me now is Quintin Smith, a partner in GroupElephant.com and a director of Elephants, Rhinos, and People. Thank you so much for traveling all this way to join us.
Thank you for having me.
I'm super excited that you brought some show and tell.
You are welcome.
And this thing, this has a story behind it, Mr. Smith. What's going on with this?
I can tell you exactly what this is. And this is actually lighter than the real McCoy because I had to bring it here all the way from South Africa.
Okay.
But what this is this is a GPS collar that we use to fit on elephants. So we put it around their necks and we put a weight at the bottom.
So this would
so this actually extends and goes around the neck, and it's pretty heavy, but if you do the math based on what this weigh and what a typical elephant would weigh, which is about 6 tons. The ladies weigh a little bit less. But then it kind of equates to about a watch. And this is what we use to track the elephants.
Okay. And what's in here? What is inside this little magic box?
So what makes it special and what makes it so heavy, there's a GPS tracker in it. And, you know, GPS devices you find in phones, so they're very small and very light. What actually gives this all the weight is the battery. So it's quite an operation to fit this on an elephant, as you can imagine. You know, we have helicopters and we need to dart them. And to fit this, and these batteries last up to 2 years. So, you know, we don't want to replace the batteries. You know, if you ask the elephants if you can replace your battery quickly, they're not so polite about it.
I'm sure that's an understatement.
Sure.
So this is a GPS system in there, and we know that that's a tracker. So this is where SAP comes into it. So bring that connection together from here to up in the cloud to back down on the ground.
That's exactly right. So we use this, and this goes, the data, or the GPS data goes into the cloud, and with SAP Cloud integration, we bring it down to a HANA database. And then from the HANA database, we have the SAP Cloud platform, and we use the Fury framework on that, as well as some Java servers, and we've built an application that's called Find My Elephants. So, you know, clearly done by engineers, not by marketeers, but you know, and they
nothing personal there.
Not at all. You know, and we use that to track the location of the elephants, and we can see exactly when they are in danger zones or close to fences where they can be endangered. And then we would deploy our ERP Air Force, or even send out a ground crew to go and take care of them and make sure they're safe.
Do you have the app that you can bring up
I
and show
do
us?
have the app in,
Oh my
in my pocket.
goodness. So I
Yes.
just happen to have it on him. So what we're going to see here is in the moment, right now, we're going to see where elephants are in South Africa.
That is exactly
That's
right.
crazy.
So I can actually show you.
Yeah,
So there
yeah,
you can
let's
see
turn
that's
it this away. Yep,
okay.
there you
So
go.
that's where we are right now.
Yes.
So and it's just
Yeah.
panned out, and then
Yeah.
yeah, you can see if you actually zoom in, you can
Yes.
see some of the elephants' locations where we track them, and depending on the settings, we track the location once an hour and beam that up, and you can see exactly where they are.
And then what happens with this information? What do you use it for?
Well, so for the most part, we just keep an eye on them, and we see where they are, so we can send out if they're in dangerous areas. And what we'd ultimately like to do is, of course, use this data with SAP Leonardo and do some predictive analytics. And HANA has some incredible HANA spatial applications that we can use. So that's kind of where we want to go. That we're really excited about.
Okay, so this is all the super cool stuff. What do you envision? How is that all going to come together with Leonardo, and what difference will it make for the elephants and their lives?
I mean, what we've been able to accomplish has really been incredible. I mean, in the areas where we have this with the drone surveillance program, we have reduced poaching or eliminated. In that specific areas, there's zero poaching. So the challenge with that is, of course, scalability, right? There's many elephants and there's many rhinos. So, to be able to really expand this and make it bigger, we kind of need to do two things. The first one that takes a lot of manpower is monitoring them. So somebody needs to look at the screen of the drone footage. So there's a lot we can do there in terms of, pattern recognition and, analytics, but that we need real time. And of course, HANA can do that. So that's very exciting to us as a next step. The other thing that also takes a lot of manpower is the actual flying. So you need a skilled pilot to do that. So we are right now enhancing our Fiori app that we can actually, plot a little map and say this is the flight path of the drone and hit flight. So it would have been cool if you and I sat here and I say, look at this, Tisha, launch drone in South Africa, and we can see the footage here real time. So that's where we really want to go.
And then ultimately, your rangers can go out to the site. They can either herd the elephants or rhinos out of danger, or they can take action against the poachers. And in fact, that's happened in the past. Tell me about that, please.
Yeah, so, with the drone footage, we fly missions at night. We fly what we call a dirty mission, and that's when we, put on its lights and make as much noise as we can. And it's kind of like putting a beware of the dog sign on the fence, to make people aware that we're protecting the animals there. And, but in some cases we've found with the footage that's infrared, you can clearly see there's humans there that's not supposed to be there.
Right.
So, sometimes these are completely innocent people collecting wood or something like that. We've also found poachers that disguise themselves as wood collectors. So through that process, we've managed to alert the authorities and get the people away.
And actually get someone adjudicated into court and hold people accountable.
We've done that, yes.
Okay, so we know that it's elephants and rhinos, but the third key elephant rhinos is people in this in the organization. Elephants, rhinos, and people.
Exactly right.
Let's talk about people. Alleviating poverty is so important, and that's the root cause of all this.
Yeah, so, the whole strategy behind ERP, it's elephants, rhinos, and people, is actually poverty alleviation. So it's the conservation of elephants and rhinos through the alleviation of poverty, right? So, so what we'd like to do is enable communities, to have alternative economic engines so they don't have to revert to the brutal act of poaching. And that's, of course, of a medium to a long-term payoff. And for the short term, we have tactical interventions like the drone program and the GPS and elephant relocations. But the poverty alleviation is really what we're driving in parallel to get a longer-term impact.
Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's open the next gift that you brought. And this comes to the heart of poverty alleviation, is giving people meaningful work, giving them a job. And this is a beautiful way to bring together poverty alleviation in a way that also helps the elephants, and it's brilliant. Let's hear it.
I know you like the story.
I'm so excited about this story.
So I'll unveil.
Please, the big moment. Yep.
So what that is this is honey.
Of all things, honey.
Of all things. So I think common wisdom would make you believe that elephants is actually afraid of mice.
Or that's a conventional.
That's conventional.
Right, the fairy tale, yep.
That's not really the case. They're actually afraid of bees.
Bees.
And it's the smallest little thing, and you would say, well, why?
Like honeybees.
Yeah, honeybees. And the reason for it is that the bees can actually sting them in their trunks, and that can cause mortality. So they are extremely afraid of bees.
So the bees fly up inside the elephant's trunk and sting them.
Exactly right. So, I mean, if you have a nose that long, you should watch out for bees.
Yes.
So we had a rural community in one part of South Africa where the elephants were just marauding through the crops. And there was some serious human-elephant conflict because these people are now interfering with the elephants are interfering with their livelihood. So we intervened there, and what we set up was a beehive fence or a beeline fence. And what it basically is we take beehives and we distribute them several hundred feet apart, and we connect them with a tripwire. And then as soon as the elephants just touch the tripwire, the bees goes berserk and the elephants flee. And, we've put that up, and there's never been an issue between this community and the elephants. But on top of that,
yes,
is that community is now harvesting the honey and selling it, generating an income. And this honey comes from one of those beehives, which is all the way from South Africa, and a gift for you.
A gift. Oh, thank you. This is just brilliant. It's nature working to help nature.
Absolutely.
But people also, it brings them in, and instead of isolating them, brings them together in a way that people are actually able to profit and sustain themselves.
Absolutely, and ultimately conserve elephants and rhinos, which is
and speaking of elephants and rhinos. All right, you win the cute factor.
I was about to say,
here.
they say don't trust Greek bearing gifts.
Well.
But I'm not Greek, so here's some more gifts. I thought I'll leave you with a little soft toy of elephants and rhinos. But there's also a hidden message in that, and that's why we do what we do. We don't want our children and grandchildren to remember elephants and rhinos by books and soft toys.
Right.
So, if things continue at the rate they do, we will not have any rhinos left, in less than a decade. So that's why we committed to it and why we elicited SAP's help, for which we're very grateful for.
Quintin, thank you so much. This is truly one of the coolest stories we've ever been privileged to tell. All in all, a very exciting day here at Sapphire Now in Orlando, filled with visionaries, intelligent enterprises, hot news, and hey, even large mammals, elephants, rhinos, and people. But you know what? We have even more for you. Join us again tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. And for now, we're going to sign off.